And it also, besides having the microphone in the way or not in the way and then muting yourself, I guess it would help to have something of an audio type device to pick up on everything I'm going to try to say. So, good morning, Tanya. Good morning, Margaret. Good morning, Nicole. Thanks for being here. Good morning, Carmen. So, yes, welcome to Mid Morning Medium Chat with Adam the Black Swamp Medium. Um, First off, big shout out to there's a lot of you. There might be a smaller crowd than usual. Many are at the Midwest Parafest, which is happening right now in Toledo, Ohio, at the Oliver House. So all my uh, well wishes, that today goes great for them, and um, wish I could have been there, but this was one of those events that I pulled out and canceled, so that way I can kind of take care of myself a little bit more. Which, again, we're gonna kind of dive into some of that stuff today. But good morning, Jill. So yes, I am missing everybody, and this is just one of those um, things, but not normal for me. But hey, it is what it is. Hey, Chris. So yeah, so we'll just kind of play around this morning and have fun and uh, share some stuff and kind of give you an idea. Obviously, there's going to be stuff that I'm not going to touch on, just because it is personal, and there's just only so much um, that I'm willing to share. But there's stuff that most of it is things you basically kind of knew, and then there's so much in addition to it. And there's some absolutely incredible things, even despite being as um you know much of I don't even know a good word to put myself. I should be labeling things, but feeling horrible in so many different areas. But hey, Debbie. So um excuse me if I keep clearing my throat. Apparently third cup of coffee is not helping much. But anyway, yeah. So I mean, I think we're like, it's probably like a month ago now. I think we're at that point, and you guys kind of knew, hey, Tim, what's happening? It is. I mean, I had to work it a little bit. It was worse than this. I mean, a little bit of brushing and things like that. It was terrible. You guys, if you would have seen what I looked like this morning without putting the heated beard comb through it, this thing was more way out to here than it was straight down. So I kind of got a little bit of it back down in a facing a good direction. So, but um, but yeah. So I mean, like I said, this was about a month ago, and yeah. Oh gosh, Tim, I don't know. That, whoo, that would be a sight to see. You almost have to do like a live, just doing that live, and then get everybody's reaction. Or wait, maybe I'll just I have a TikTok, but maybe but I've just never posted anything. Maybe I could just do it there, and everybody get a kick out of it. You know, just have this big ball of white and gray hair. But um, but yeah, so I just kind of wanted to give you guys a little bit more of an update. I do have beard oil, Nicole. I do. Um, what I do is I found it was learning. I don't know why we're going on a beard subject. Thanks a lot, Tim and Nancy. Get me off topic on a beard thing. But yeah, I found a thing where, because you you wash it, shampoo it, condition it, certain days, and then you use beard oil on the opposite days, because I found that if you wash the crap out of your beard, especially something of this magnitude, there's a lot of extra issues that go on. I I've never had so much dandruff in my life, and I found out because even with putting conditioner, it just dries my chin and a little bit of the neck area so badly that I'm just like, it looks like snow. It's that bad. So when I started doing just washing it like every other day and then putting beard oil in, it's completely like eliminated it. So, tip for all those beard carriers out there, even though it seems like there's only a couple guys watching right now. Good morning, Cindy. So Tim, I'm sure you probably don't have this problem. You're just magnificent as it is. So, why would you, have to do this a morning treatment to things? Hey, Stacy. So, wouldn't it be to just do a beard things and then watch everybody yell at me? So, uh, you're doing it wrong. Nancy, I've never thought of trying a dry shampoo on it. I guess because it is harsh. Now I am using technically beard shampoo and conditioner. So, uh it is for that, but I when I did more research on it because I was like, why do I keep having so much dandruff? And then it was just because you're just drying it out, even with the conditioner, it still just dries it out because it just not all getting in there. So yeah, yeah, Tim. Hey, Julie. And yeah, the beard oil is nice. I mean, it's crazy how like great it feels. Not only just the hair, but then the chin and everything. That you don't really get to see. And hey Nancy. But so yeah, that's one of those things. But like I said, I had to kind of straighten it out today just to not make it look so froish. But yeah, right, right, Margaret. Head and shoulders for a beard. Oh, thanks, Tammy. I am trying. I am trying, trying to get back into things, but I'm not fully there yet. I'm still working on myself, which is more of a gist of what today we're going to be, what I'm diving into. Just kind of update everybody as to what's been going on with me. And hey, Matt, how you doing, buddy? And so, but it's even though it's been it's almost a full week since I've kind of shut down like more officially, pulling back from some events and kind of stopping everything else I'm doing. I have beard butter. I've never heard of that, Tim. You're going to have to inform me. Um, and I got you, Margaret. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, as a kid, I remember using it. When I had a short time when I had, the regular had, dandruff up top. But oh, thanks, Debbie. It's there's you got to, and Debbie, I'm glad you brought that up. And I should put some of your guys' comments up there. But always know that when I do my backgrounds, there's always a hidden meaning. I think I've talked about it before, but always know that when I do put backgrounds up, there's a meaning to all of them. You usually reference something that might be going on with me, or it is sort of the mood, or it's something I'm trying to relate back to you guys and things. So there's a reason for the foggy mist back there. So but yeah, I mean, so like I said, I'm trying to get some things going. And I even though I'm not going to dive into it just yet, but this week, it's weird because it kind of shifted from being so much a lot on me, then it shifted to completely a different area of my life that I wasn't having to focus on. And here it is, I'm like, it's amazing that, I can still pop on and still kind of get my words out and not stumble too much. And it's this week, and I'm going to touch on some of this week because then you just be like, man, what is going on with him? Which is true. But it's just one of those things. But I've been able to, personally figure it out. I've had some help from a couple people, and we definitely have all agreed on what's going on with me as a whole, which is one of the reasons why I want to share some a good chunk of it, and then obviously reference it. Now again, it's been things we've sort of talked about in the past. It's just interesting that how when I kind of put them in a timeline for you and how it's all kind of unfolded to today, it makes you be like, oh, okay, I kind of see, and then just some of the other things as to why I've why things I've started canceling or putting on hold and things of that sort. But you know, I definitely feeling at least the last day, yesterday, and then so far this morning, definitely feeling a little bit better. I do feel like I have a little bit more energy, and it's not just because I am on 3 cups of coffee. I usually don't get too jazzed up over coffee. I mean, at least I think I'm immune to it by now, but uh, well, I'm trying, Tim. I mean, if I auditioned more, I probably could, maybe get myself into a an Academy Award type of acting role because I sure do hide it. Hey, Misty, how you doing? Mm. Yeah, it could be Misty. You never know. Um, well, I mean, and like I said, I'm going to hit it but anyway, like I was trying to say earlier, uh, back, about 4 weeks ago, I had anxiety, and I did mention it, back then, and it was weird because it triggered an old, rough patch in my life. It was a couple years, almost 2 years of one of my day jobs that I was doing that just I've never had that kind of stress levels and anxiety ever. Oh, I miss you too, Misty. I know it's been forever, it seems. Um, but it's just been, it was weird because I did some work on myself and to try to get that stuff finally off of me. So it was weird that when I went through some rough moments with my current day job, I do two different roles, and the one I was doing was a flashback to what caused everything before. And oh my gosh, I mean, it just all these horrible memories come flooding back, and I'm like, what is happening? And so, you know, it just tore me up. And I mean, in some regard, it makes you think that you're having like major health problems. I mean, the chest pains were unbelievable, and it just reminded me of way back then, and it was just uh it was brutal. I mean, and I was surprised that I think I still had that show that weekend because of how bad it was, but I wanted to, still get it out to everybody that, you can go through things, and things can happen, and you can still make the best out of it. And like I do, like I said a little bit ago to Tim, it's like I can hide quite a bit and still make it seem like nothing's happening, when reality it is. So I do well hiding things at times, which is probably bad, you know. But so that was happening, and then that weekend, like, I then started having some, health issues that I've always been dealing with for well over a decade or two, and those were starting to kind of flare up and things. And then I'm just like, so now I'm dealing with, anxiety. I'm having major attacks constantly all day long, even on the weekend when nothing's was going on. And I was having those. It would show up for a couple hours and then back off. And then the health stuff started popping in there, and again, just stuff that I've always dealt with. They're not, life threatening or anything, but they kind of came in. So now I'm dealing with two different things, and I'm like, okay, there's a little too much now, one at a time, and it just wasn't working out. And and so I'm getting into that next week, and the anxiety was still going on. And so basically that whole week, I think it was. And then I still dealing with this. Health things were kind of up and down. That next weekend, I think, was Labor Day weekend because I started really once I kind of got the health stuff to subside enough to where I could focus, because I mean, of course I'm guilty that I wasn't, able to do a lot that I try to talk about, and what so many others talk about is, you got to take the time for yourself. You got to, meditate. You got to clear, especially with the anxiety stuff. You got to get that relief. And the problem was when the pain and everything is so over the top, it for me, it is very, very difficult to focus, because then even when you're sitting there and you're trying to relax, you're trying to get things off of your back, so to speak, that it just is so distracting that I couldn't, separate I just couldn't get away from it. And so uh I even that week, when I realized, like, still, no matter what I did to that, I've gotten advice from counselors and things like that before, because I had friends that would help people in situations. I was just like, this is kind of what's going on. So I'm trying to get that freebie advice, and this was in the past, but I was bringing a lot of that information back out, and I was trying the things that used to work, and I was like, it's just not breaking. And so I went and did something that because I needed the relief, because it was getting ridiculous by that next weekend, like going into Labor Day weekend. And I found a pill, a magic pill. I I found stuff that was recommended back then, which was, I think, the 2000, yeah, between 2015 or 2014 to 2016, fall of 2016. Um, there was there's a great, and what it does is it just goes after like the melatonin, all the tonins. I can't think of them all right now, but serotonin, melatonin. There you go. There's a bunch of them, and there's it's an over counter thing, but I always look it up because originally that's how it was, how I found it, but now they kind of move the letters around a little bit, but it's called, like, again, if you just type up HTP5, uh it goes after all those tonins, so to speak, and it doesn't mess with your head or anything. It really does, kind of take the edge off, which is what I needed just so I could finally do my thing and jump in there. And so I only took them for you only take like one a day, and it it only gosh, I think I only took them for 3 days because I finally got a good handling, excuse me. I finally got a good handling of uh everything. I wasn't hurting to the levels that I was. And so it just did numbers, and it was great because they've obviously, since the last time I took it was 2016, I think it was. So it's been a forever, and so they've changed it a little bit, but I mean it worked for me. And again, it's not like something that I try not to do as much as that stuff. Obviously, headaches and things like that, I'll fight it for as long as I can. But then if it gets to the point where it's affecting my functioning and thinking and stuff like that, then I'll go in and you know Advil, Tylenol, all that, stuff, whatever I feel like, and just get that edge off. Hey, Rodney, good morning. So, but this was one of those things. I just needed something to get me thinking differently, so that way I could, focus and then work on myself, because that's all it was. And so, um, and I will read some of those comments here in just a second. But so like I said, I did it for about 3 days, which was, into that. I think I got it on that weekend of Labor Day. So I was able to take it for a few days. And what was great was because, we had that Monday off, for those of us that still have day jobs. They that Monday morning I had my last little mild anxiety attack, which, is nothing. It's, you almost didn't even realize you're having it. But I had my last one then, and then I've been good ever since. And then I obviously wouldn't be taking that the HTP5 anymore, but it helped me out. And then I was able to start working on things. And it was weird because then I was starting to have, all these other stuff going on. I know, Tim, I know you're retired, buddy. You got your feet up in the air. So, um, real quick, let me back up just a little bit. Uh, Debbie saying anxiety, panic attacks are the worst. People who have never had it just can't begin to. Yeah, it's true. If you've never had it, and believe me, you'll know if you've had like a real one, because it's one thing to just be like, a little, you feel a little bit, but when you have like the good ones, you really know. Tim saying you never follow our own advice, especially when you're in pain. Yeah, yeah, yep. Stacy, I've not been able to meditate either. My mind goes a million miles a minute. Yeah. And it's tough when you're busy or you're worrying about this or you got to do that. And it's our life. Jill's vicious life cycle. Debbie, I've not tried that type, the L tryptophan. Hey, Linda. Panic attacks are so debilitating. And you actually feel like you're dying. I learned how to manage them as well. Yeah, you're right, Linda. It is kind of it's a blessing and a curse at the same time. And yeah, I mean, that's the crazy thing is like I haven't had them to that level in so many years. You mean I have them, and I've talked about it on here before. I have some, and but they're very mild. They're nothing like they were, and this was bad. So like I said, once I was able to kind of break that tension and work on myself, do some meditating and things, you know, finally I started getting a grip on stuff, which was great, because it's like how much I can't keep going on like this, or it's really going to be bad, bad shape, bad news for me. So, but, and then, so I still, was working on myself a little bit, trying to do what I could. And then tons of other personal things started kind of floating in and just, they were, and again, I'm not going to get into a lot of the personal things because some of it, like I said, it really just it's for me. But it just they were flooding into my mind, and just all these things that you know, I got to do this, I got to do that. And so, it's almost like I'm like, here it is. I get all this other stuff off of me, and then I'm kind of building and putting new things back on top. And I'm like, why am I doing that to myself? But I didn't realize it when I was doing it. And so we get into last week, last weekend, and again, a lot of these other personal things that are happening, started me, which is when some of the meditations were making sense. I was starting to connect better and stronger. And then I realized after I started asking my peeps, my guides, you know, what is going on? What are you guys doing to me? Because I realized, that I was missing something clearly. And, they literally just it made it as blunt as possible, even though I had to go into meditation to see them, but they were obviously affecting it, and trying to make me pay attention. But it was difficult to go through what I was doing and then be like, oh, that's what you meant. You meant. But I realized I was doing too much. There's so many things that you don't realize that are going on. And I'm trying to do this, or I'm trying to develop this, or I'm planning this, or I want to, there's so many things, wrapped around my passions. And then obviously, there's family things, and then there's, normal job things. And, trying to manage all that, it's like, that's a lot on one's plate. And it was interesting that, when we went into last weekend, and I did the show, and I, felt really good, because it was now, a good week, almost a full week that I got a lot off of me, and I finally was working on myself. And I realized that even going to that weekend, I had a lot of thoughts that were already brewing that, I know I got to slow down. And that means I'm going to have to make some pretty big decisions to stop and slow down. And that means I'm going to have to cut some stuff out until, either I feel like I'm ready to get back into them, or I am, or I'm in a position to where it's just the right time, or I'm not in the time and I still need to work on myself. So I kind of already knew going into, even Saturday morning, that I was going to be making decisions, on Sunday. But what was really interesting, it was like my guides gave me one last poke just to prove what my thoughts were. Because when I got done with the show last Saturday, which you guys, for those that were here last weekend, you saw, I definitely looked a little bit better. I didn't feel like, like some of my posts, might seem a little doom and gloom a little bit, even though I never try to make it seem that way. But, I'm just trying to be as close to honest with you without sharing everything. So that's why I say close. But I'm giving you as much as I can. And I'm like, I get them at the show, and I always try to do I pull the audio version out of this, and then I dump it into a podcast and then upload it. And right when the show ends, I've got it downloading. Hey, Dinah. And it was the weirdest thing. I started having excruciating pain, and I'm not going to put my foot up on the table, but imagine, here's your foot, you know, all I was having was pain in the central top area. Like, this movement and just sitting still was, I mean, excruciating. And I wasn't, like now my feet are flat on the ground. I'm not doing anything weird. I'm not turning them, twisting them, and they're just sitting there. And I sitting here trying to get this, pull the audio out. And I'm like, what is happening? Hey, good morning, Dad. Hey, James. And I mean, it was crazy. And I get the stuff done. I'm trying to turn off all my lights and close down the laptop and everything. And then trying to get upstairs, I'm like gripping super tight, the handrail, and climbing myself back upstairs. And my wife's in the one room, when you come up, and she was just like, what is wrong? I'm like, I can't walk. I mean, it just hurts so bad. I mean, and I got to go upstairs because I'm in a basement. And I'm, I'm just, it was, I mean, it was bad, bad. And all I did was like, I'm like, I got to sit down. I get off my feet. And of course, at that moment, I'm like, what, happened? And I already knew what caused that, but then I realized why it happened, you know, and that's why, like, when I posted, I was like, I can't, I couldn't, I don't know if it was Saturday or Sunday when I posted, but I'm like, I couldn't walk. And that's why I was like, Sunday, it was fine, but that's because I recognized the issue. But plus I knew what also triggered it. But I I mean, I had to sit for the rest of the day, and I kind of was, I sort of had some, plans to do something that night, and then I just realized it was like, "Nope, we told you you need to slow down, and we're not kidding." And I'm like, and that's when it was all starting to make sense. I'm like, "Okay, so I'm not supposed to go anywhere, so now physically you're preventing me from going anywhere." So I get it. You really are serious that I have to stop doing things or slow down so much that it's just the way it is. And so, and I see some great comments, so I'm going to talk to, see, catch back up here. So, um, I so I sat all day long, and I had some cool CBD oil that you can rub on, that I was rubbing on my tops of my, feet, ankle, next in between the ankle area, and did wonders. That helped me a lot. And even at one point still I had to take something just to take the edge off. Uh but even then, about bedtime, was when I finally felt like I was, at least I could get into bed and get back and then go up to the, bedroom upstairs and things. So, but it was just crazy that if it's just all hitting, and uh, e- and I realized, because even then, at one point, I did a meditation just to confirm things, in the afternoon, and it was like, I get it, guys. I get it. You don't have to be so physical, like, but then again, I get why you did it, because you really wanted to make the point that my decisions, that I was already pretty much leaning on, just validated. And so that's why then, I woke up Sunday and I started, like today, the missing out on the Midwest Parafest that's going on in Toledo. And, I reached out to, the Erie Shores, who, hosted, and, apologized, and, said, I just gotta work on myself a little bit. There's a lot of things, but, um, you know, I don't think, like, even now, I got great energy. I don't know if I could do readings today. It's just that kind of, what's going on. I don't know if I could have sat there, for, 6, 7, 8 hours and try to do readings. I don't feel like I have it in me today to do it. But that's okay, because I'm not upset. I mean, yeah, I'm missing out. There's so many people I haven't seen in years because of, the pandemic and things. But I just wish wish I could have felt better enough to be there and hang out and catch up with people. And but, I'm still glad I made the decision that I did to kind of stop and not do anything else, and kind of cancel a few more things, and just take some more time and really focus on myself, because I need it. I really do. I know I do. Even and I'm saying, like I said, I've seen a few comments out there, and I know I needed it, because I knew I was overwhelmed. Because when you're constantly thinking about this, and you're going to the next thing, or you haven't finished one, and you just keep adding all these different scenarios, I need to do that and this, and I'm like, you know, and so that, it was nice. It was relieving to finally, like, feel great about my decision to kind of pull back. Um and then uh you know Monday morning, I'm okay. I'm feeling, pretty good. And it was probably about, I don't know, 9 or 10 o'clock Monday morning. And I get a text from my wife saying that, our son is being sent home because he's got a fever. And we knew he had allergies and things, and he was, been sniffling for weeks. And, had a runny nose, but he has bad allergies. It's like confirmed. So, we give him Claritin and things like that to help him out. And he was just, he was miserable, but, it wasn't anything horrible. He had nothing else. He didn't have any fever, before. So he, was sent home. And of course, they're taking everything seriously. So he was not allowed back to school until he got a negative test. I get it. It's the way it is. So, we get all, we have a take home test. He did the take home test that came back negative. So that was at least giving us a little bit of sign of hope. And, we get the official one, but we have to wait till Wednesday to get the results. Tuesday, my my daughter, again, I'm at work, again, my daughter she's unbeknownst to her, she scratched her eye, but we didn't know it at the time. And I'm just kind of fast forwarding a little bit. Scratched her eye pretty good. And so then she was in all kinds of pain, and that was Tuesday. And I'm going, "Oh, here we go." And, um, had to get her into the doctor, and then, what was it? And then, well, she couldn't get her to the eye doctor until Wednesday. Wednesday, they confirmed what that there was a scratch, and that, obviously most of our family wears contacts and things. So she wasn't allowed to wear contacts, and we had to get some special drops. But, she also does rowing. So I had to take, her to rowing, and her and her friend, and then pick up, so this week. So I realized by Wednesday morning that so now it's not so much me personally. Now my attention's got to focus on all the family members. So here it was. I spent a lot of time trying to get, you know, help me, help myself. And now I got to do I got to be responsible. I got to do the parent thing. I'm like, oh my God. So now this past week, it's just been family stuff. Now, there was other things family oriented that was involved that I'm not going to share that one, but that was another thing that we couldn't be a part of. But there was something that happened, and that was like, oh man, just another family thing. And by the way, my son, when he did get his results back, which was really late Wednesday afternoon, it was negative. So because we knew it, we just figured it was a sinus infection, which is what was causing the fever. And so he's been great, really, he stayed home for a few days, and my son, was bouncing around, giggling, being his normal self, really the whole time. He looked bad in the face, but it is what anyway. So, and now it was Thursday, the wife started having a little bit of nose issues. And, yesterday, we're checking on her, and then boom, she's pretty much got a cold because couple weeks ago, I forgot to mention that my daughter originally brought a cold home from school, which sort of gave it to me, that was another little health thing that I had to deal with, but it wasn't as bad. But I've been taking all kinds of vitamins and really trying to keep my immunity up, for a lot of reasons, which I've been doing since, before, right when my kids were born. But I forgot about that. And so we believe that, my daughter kind of gave some of the cold stuff to my son, which then aggravated, his allergies and affected all the other stuff. And then obviously because of all the stress this week, it's usually pretty much right on cue that my wife will then go down with, issues. And sure enough, now, today, yesterday, a little bit Thursday, it's showing up. So now she's not feeling great, but she's, no fever. We're checking all that stuff constantly, and so she's doing fine, and just gonna need a few days to get over. But like I said, and it's not so much that I'm trying to share all this. I'm just trying to make sure that a lot of you realize that we all go in waves. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm going to take a minute to go back through some comments, but um, we all go through waves, and it's horrible when they happen because you just think sometimes it's the end of the world. I mean, I've gotten used to it because it does happen, and I've had my, weeks and things, and but like this, where it's just kind of continuing to be like this thing, and it's this big, massive stuff. And, and I think it was Elizabeth that wrote a couple things, which I want to read her stuff, but, and Carmen earlier, there has been some astrological events that have kind of popped in there for a little bit, and they've kind of wreaked some havoc and caused some things. So it's like, you guys are just timing this all out horribly for me and my family at this point. So, you know, but it is what it is. You just got to roll with it the best you can, however you can, and you got to fight for it. You know what I mean? You can't give up. You can't. Like I said, I would give you guys updates, but it wasn't I wasn't ever trying to make it like a boo-hoo, sympathy on me. I just want you guys to always understand that I'm gonna, give you some information if why maybe I'm not responding back, or why I don't seem like I'm so active, or, you know, I want to provide as much as I can. I want to share as much as I can. I'm always trying to be positive, so I hate when I have to, be like, I need a timeout. I need a timeout for a change, and because I want to push, 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 and realize, that you can only push so much, and then you're you're in trouble. So at least I can laugh about it, looking, as I look back over all this stuff because it happens. So I you gotta you just gotta keep smiling through it and you just never give up. That's cliche because you hear it from everybody, but no matter how bad things get, you can't let it get to you because and it will. I'm not gonna lie. It is going to get to some of us, and maybe you've all been through it. I'm sure. We get so far, and then boom, we it's just okay. Yep, freeze. We're got to focus on ourselves, or like for me, like this week the decisions I made to kind of stop and work on myself. Well, good because then I had to sort of help out with the family, even when I've been at home in the evening. So it's just how that plays out, and it's neat how it goes together. Now, let me read a few comments because there's a couple other little points I want to make with you all. Let's see. All right, Elizabeth was talking about okay, yeah, the energy download around the planet right now really intense. Time for grounding and rest. Yeah, absolutely, Elizabeth. Yeah, that's so true. I've seen that, people posting about it, other, you know, metaphysical, healers and things. Yeah, we're definitely, I would agree with you. Let's see. What else we got? Yeah, Elizabeth said it again. My dad being funny. Let's see. Debbie's talking about, listen to your body or it'll drop and keep going right in your head. Yeah, indeed. Nicole, you need time for yourself. It's not selfish, it's what you need. Yeah, it's true. It's so true. Tim, you just know you can't do readings, just say no. Yeah, it is. You hate to do that. You hate to tell your clients, I can't do it, or we got to postpone it, or move it. That's the thing that sucks more is whenever I have to tell somebody, I can't. It just can't work. And I've always said it. I've said it on the shows many times. If I can keep, you know, as long as I can be, because I always like to be 100%. I don't like to try to do things with clients. Now, I may try some stuff on my own when things are going on personally, to kind of see, can I do this if I'm not quite 100%? Can I do it at 80%? You know what I mean? And so but I still don't feel comfortable because I know I want to give my best. And if I'm not at my best, then I just don't feel it's right. And I don't want I want my clients to walk away and feel good about it, and you spent the time to search me out or book another reading with me or healing from me. And so you have expectations, and I get that, and so do I. But yeah, I just want to make sure that you're getting everything that you asked for. And so you don't want me being miserable, because then what does that do for you? You know what I mean? It doesn't help you out then, especially if I'm not getting the messages or I'm not able to really help you out, and if you're looking for healing. So all right. Yep. Yeah, Tammy, well, hang in there. I see what you're saying. Hugs, and your week was rough. I get you. You hang in there. Yeah, Margaret. It could be. It could be. A lot of shifting. A lot of shifting. Let's see. Jill's been dealing with a lot of allergy, cold stuff for almost 3. Yeah, it's been crazy. I mean, I think what the temperatures have been kind of starting to bounce a little bit. They either go up and they're really low, and so a lot of allergies, running around. So, um, yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, it's just one of the things. So it's hard to make it's hard to share everything again because, like I said, there's some other personal things that are mixed in there that also helped with decision things. But you know, it's just one of those things you have to stand by it and you can't look back and regret it. And even if, like, let's say you just had this bad feeling something's gonna happen and then it doesn't happen, you still have to feel good because you made that decision for yourself, and that's important. If you don't feel good and it's just like I got to stop it, and whatever that funny feeling is, I just don't feel good about, and then you just do it. Like I said, I made a decision to kind of pull back for at least a good month or two and just kind of see how I do, feel, work on my stuff, and that's happened. This week's been a little bit rough. I was okay in the beginning, and then pretty much since Tuesday, I haven't been able to do a whole lot because I've been focused on family. So, but again, that's just the way the responsibilities play. Now, one more story, and I shouldn't say it's really a story, but one more experience that I had, and there's some details that I'm going to leave out because I'm still trying to understand things. Now, I'm trying to remember the exact day that this happened, but I think it was at the beginning of this week. It was either Sunday night or Monday night. I think it was Monday night. That's what it was. It was Monday night. And I was having trouble going to sleep because I was concerned, not so much, you know, I was concerned about my son. I knew he didn't have the thing. I'm not going to say it because, I don't want to, I don't want to say it, but you guys know, what's mostly in the news right now. But I knew he didn't. But you still feel bad. I'm, being empathic, and when you are around people that are struggling, especially struggling, you absorb, those emotions, those feelings. And so even though my son still had energy, he still was, but you could still see, he was battling things. And you got to remember, my son is autistic. So, and he's mostly in a nonverbal state. So he doesn't share everything. He can't share everything because he doesn't know how to do it. And so I just naturally pick up on it. And so he's the one that makes it really tough on me, especially when I see him, when he looks miserable in the face. And so I couldn't fall asleep Monday, and I was like, I gotta sleep, I gotta get up early. I work super early in the morning. And I so I'm laying in bed and trying to fall asleep. And I'm laying there and I realize, you know what? Obviously I'm wide awake. You know, I'm gonna do a meditation. I'm just gonna kind of just clear my head, push a lot of things out of the way. And that way, you know, that should tire me out. Not so much of just the process, but because I've been able to push everything that doesn't need to be in there right now because we need sleep. And you know, it was probably it was a very enlightening, a very informative meditation. I wasn't really planning on anything. I just wanted to just get in there, focus on the breathing, just clear things and just kind of just relax. And that's obviously the whole point. You can't fall asleep if you're all chaotic. And it was literally after, like, I always do a couple deep breaths, and immediately, you know, uh a figure comes in, and it's not something that I've ever seen. It's something I've never spoken to. And I just wasn't sure what I was encountering. And it wasn't scary because the energy was amazing. It was beautiful, you know. Uh it was even, in a way angelic like, because it wasn't, there just wasn't anything bad. And, felt comfortable, but it was interesting was that, okay, I got a two-story house and a basement. I'm upstairs in my bedroom. Well, I hear I hear noise, which, you know, my family at this point was already, getting into beds and things. So I knew there was nobody on the main floor. So I'm hearing this noise in this meditation and I'm like, what is going on? And I immediately somehow go in, I just kind of do like what I would do typically is I do, remote viewing. So I just kind of jumped out of my body and went downstairs. And this is where I seen this figure. And interesting enough, he was over by my computer desk, uh, and he was playing and making. Well, he made noise on purpose after I asked him what are you doing, and he and I am saying who, what gender he is, because that's what he looked like. He, he was getting out. Now, one thing I got a couple months ago, 3 months ago, 4 months ago. I've heard a lot about it. I've been doing research, and I don't have it next to me because this is upstairs, but I have a pretty large size copper pyramid, and it's just the bars, so it's got open space in there. And there's a lot of research, a lot of studies, especially like with the pyramids and things like that in Egypt and stuff. They're the energy that is within the boundaries of the pyramid have a way of doing amazing positive things. One of them is like cleansing items. So, they always say you should be cleansing, a lot of people that love their crystals and gemstones and things, you put these literally in the center of the pyramid, and you just let it sit there. There's, you know, I, they recommend, like overnight type of thing, but you just let it sit there. And I kid you not, not that I was skeptical, but I put some things in there, let things recharge, or other things I just thought maybe, just clear it just to make sure. And tell you what though, the next day when I take it, grab the items and things like that, or if there's something I wear and put them on, I'm just like, whoo, that really feels crazy. And so I'm like, this is awesome. And so what I can do one time, oh, that's cool. Tim saying, I've used pyramids for meditation. Amazing. Yeah, I mean, like I said, this one's probably, I can't even give you a good it. I will do this next week. I will bring the pyramid so you guys can see it. But I think it's about maybe a good foot tall, possibly. And um yeah, I could show you guys next weekend because I didn't think to bring it. But anyway, but he was focusing on, which was the interesting thing is because this entity uh there was a whole thing about cleansing, and again, it makes the whole bigger picture interesting because when he was messing with that, even though it wasn't out, I have it put away so that way you know, none of the family members go touching it because it's, it's copper wire, copper piping type of thing, and I don't want anybody leaning on it because it's going to bend it, and that would just kill me. So I keep it in its box to make sure it's out of sight, out of mind for those curious around here that want to mess with things. And so and Elizabeth, I'll share one other real thing about, other ways to do that. Uh, but I was fascinated with the pyramid thing, and uh, geez, where was I going with that? I got off track. I'm gonna cough. Drank too quick. Anyway, it but it was so we get into this conversation like that. There's some information like I said, I'm gonna hold yet because I would need to know more because I wanted to find out what it was, why did he want me to see this, why did he, who is he, where's he coming from, things like this, because I'm just like blown away because my house, is locked down like Fort Knox, from a spiritual standpoint. There ain't nothing coming in here without me opening the door, so to speak. Okay. And there was just absolutely no way I was going to allow that I allow anything to come in here because that's just, this house is off limits. And if I do readings, I open up the door, I bring, the said spirit, whoever, I need to connect with in, and then I put, escort them back out and close the door. So there is no unwanted guest ever. And so this I knew was way up because it just doesn't happen. Now my guides, on my family's guides, if they want to believe in them or not, I don't push that stuff on them. But any guides are allowed to be in here at any point. They have that they have that they all general access. And but I knew this figure was something bigger than I've ever experienced before. I mean, well, I take that back, probably not the top, but it ranks up there. So I so we, like I said, we were getting into things. I did get his name. I'm not going to share that just yet. I did get what he is, and it was fascinating because the more I got into asking questions and things like this, the deeper the conversation needed to go. And one of the most beautiful parts about the whole thing, and again, I hadn't, it's one thing, and Tim Shaw can, back me up on this. It's that, we do readings and spirit comes through. We have zero expectations as to what's going to happen or what's going to be said or what's going to be shared. We have zero. We never know. And all this right now is completely mind blowing because I have no idea what's going. I mean, I know what's going on, but I don't know what's going on. And to speak to this person and the information that's starting to come out, and I'm just like, where are we going with this? Well, part of it got to a point because Now remember, see how things are. I'm going to show you how things are lining up right now for me. So I shut down a lot of stuff, trying to work on myself. Well, this particular person comes in and is basically telling me there's a bigger role for me right now that I need to take over. And basically straight up telling me this is what you're going to be doing. And I'm like, okay. And to put it mildly, the resources and the access and to what I'm being asked to do are really, really up there. you know, we have understandings of a good amount of stuff. This is stuff I've never even thought of before. This is how high it went. And it's just, it was really eye opening. And again, I want to get some more information before I start dropping it to really truly share the details with everybody. Because like I said, I it's not trying to withhold it. I just want as much as possible so that way I have more to say. But I'm really excited. I think it makes a lot of sense that here it is. I'm working on myself. I did have some goals for myself while I'm doing this downtime, some things I wanted to personally, achieve spiritually and stuff. And so this just adds perfectly uh right into the mix. And it's not adding anything or something that's gonna be too much for me, but it truly is going to be something that I'm excited about. And I'm, and I guess I should put it this way. It's not like it's nothing you guys don't already know that I can do. I could say that, but it's it just is going to be a little bit more magnified. I guess I should put it like that. That's probably a good way as to putting it mildly in a way that it's just going to be a little bit more magnified, you know, doubled, tripled, quadrupled the amount of um, what I'll be doing. Like I said, it's not a big shift, too much of a shift that mm, most people would be like, oh, he's just doing that. But it's what's behind it that's doing that. So, um, so, and like I said, the reason just for sharing it is just to show you that you know things happen, and when they happen, they're supposed to happen at the right time, at the right place, all that fun stuff. And going through what I went through, being shown clearly, you gotta slow down a bit. There's some other things which when I look back now, I'm realizing that there's a lot of things you need to do. You got to get off your feet. You got to focus on this. You know, doesn't mean you can't. You still have to do your other responsibilities, but we are clearly showing you what's the next big step for you. And I probably wouldn't have known it if I would have just kept pushing through it or fighting, all the other stuff that's been going on for weeks. And, you know, it really truly makes sense. And now whether any of you would go through something like this, it you could, your mind has to be, you know, open to a lot of things. You can't be skeptical. Most of us, in the room that are watching, you can't be. If you if you're, not believing into something or whatever, I mean, you can't expect much. It's just like people that have bad luck never take the time to shift their energy to push to not have bad luck because they keep, oh, I got more bad luck. This happened to me. And it's the same thing over and over. And why do you think you keep having the bad luck? Because you haven't fought to get rid of it. And when you have good luck, obviously you want to stay there because it's great. But even then, luck, I mean, it's not so much as like, oh, I won the lottery. I'm just saying, you know, things just fall into place. You know what I mean? But you still have to learn. Everything that happened with me, it's a big learning thing. You're never going to stop learning until it's your time to go over there on that side and help out. But it's amazing that when you really look back finally and realize all the rough moments, and then you're like, oh, now I get it, and it's horrible to go through, but then, like I said, it really shows you how you are being prepared for something. Now, there might be people out there that are just like, "Yeah, right," you know what I mean? Like, "That's crap." And I get it. I'm not gonna sit there and argue with you, but I'm going through it, and then why else would these things happen then? That would be my rebuttal, but that's not my thing, or what's for me is for me, what's for you is you. And so for you to sit there and, you want to be skeptical of me and stuff like that, that's on you. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't really matter. You can you can have your opinion. I'm fine with that, but it doesn't change what I'm doing or what I'm going through. So that's why I think, the cool part is just us, the, being supportive of each other and whatever they're going through, and hoping that you know everything works out for the best, and so you guys know that I don't want to be miserable. I don't want to live in a negative space, and I'm always trying to. It's my whole goal is to always push you guys and get you out of those rough moments. And if sometimes the wording is right, or the topics that I'm going through kind of relate to you at the same time, and you realize you're not alone, because you're never alone in any of this. But just always know that there's people out here that are willing to listen. You know what I mean? And even now, like, you guys have issues and you guys want to hit me up with some messages. I mean, we'll totally have some back and forth conversations. And um you know but I'm always got ears open, and I got a lot of great friends that in the chat room that uh I hit often, and share some things. And it's nice to kind of uh you know it's nice for me to even get a few things out there, because I hold a lot in, and um, Jennifer, who's right there, she's been a big listener. Nicole's been great at listening, and so it's just one of those things. You gotta you know share things. You gotta let things out, and the people that you can connect with and that you can trust, that is gonna be there to listen to and I think I said it. It's been a while since I've said it, but I remember learning this once. Was that from a Native American elder, is that there's a big reason as to why we have two ears versus one mouth. It's because we're supposed to hear twice as much as we are to speak. And I thought that was amazing and beautiful, and makes the most sense. We are supposed to listen to others. You know what I mean? Even if you hate what they're talking about, you know, even if it's not something you're into, you still, spend the time to listen to them. And that's everything I do. I mean, sure, you talk to certain people, they could be talking the most boring thing in the world, but I am going to sit there and I am going to be listening to every single word that they say. You know what I mean? Whether I'm into it or not, I'm still going to listen to it. You know what I mean? They want to share something. I want to give them that moment, that helps them out. That makes them feel better. They're sharing whatever it is. Maybe it's some other passion that they're into, let them do it. So, um, let's see. uh, let's see. What did Jen say? Oftentimes we go through challenging times so that we can heal and release something. This is the upgrades that we're ready for the next phase of revolution, and new experience opportunities are presented. Yeah. Yep. Yep. So, man, but we are at 10:30, so it is a great time to get out of here and uh, move on and go about the rest of our weekend. I have plenty of outdoor stuff about to happen this weekend, uh, mostly chores. But at the same time, I wanted to get outside. I need to get outside. Got to do that recharging thing. Haven't been able to do it this week, being glued into the family issues and things. So, going to be out, today and tomorrow, and taking care of some chores and lawns and things. So, I'm very excited to do that. Excited to kind of get out there. Even if I'm doing something, I'm still kind of working it out. Doing a little grounding, talking to Earth Mother, and hey, whatever you can share or help me out. So, uh, it's a good thing. So I'm excited for that. But yes, yes, and so thank you so much for everybody hanging in there. I know it again. I love doing this. I love being on here, and um, we'll be back next weekend and things, and having some more fun and come up with some come up with some things. I've got some things kind of brewing around, as far as just other topics to kind of hit, or if there's anything you guys want, to know a little bit about, or you guys could always message me and say, hey, can you answer this, or can we dive into this or get your opinions on this? That'd be awesome. So we can do that for sure. And yeah, we're gonna just gonna keep moving forward. We're gonna keep doing our thing. I will keep you updated as always. And then the more information I get on my visitor, I will definitely expand that more. But like I said, I want to get a little bit more. Want to get a little, just so that way I got everything ready for you. Because I hate to give you just a little piece of it, and then you're gonna have a million questions just like I already do. So there's more things I want to get. So uh, so that way we got a good full amount of information. So anyway, oh, and Elizabeth, real quickly, other things to do, like there's the equinox that's coming up. You can use a full moon to charge your items. I forgot to share that with you. A lot of people do that. They'll put all their stones and things in the windows, and that let that moonlight hit it overnight. You know what I mean? Such a beautiful thing. Um, if you got a little bit of like running water, sometimes people live like near, like a stream or something like that, and you can kind of put them in a bag and let them run through the water. That's another great way. So there's plenty of ways to do it. You can look them up online too, but there's, like I said, there's more, and you can have other people that can cleanse them and things like that. So, but that just give you a little quick little thing there. But anyway, so you guys have a fantastic day. I am going to get outside and get some air and call it a thing, So anyway, thank you so much for watching. You guys have been watching the Adam the Black Swamp Medium. This is Mid Morning Medium Chat. And I will see you guys again very soon. Look for post, and we'll be back live again next weekend. So you guys take care. All my love, light, and peace to every single one of you. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for the love and support the last month. And don't think I don't. It doesn't. Don't think I'm ignoring any of that. You guys have been amazing, and it's helped me out so much. So, again, all my love, light, and peace to every single one of you. Have a fantastic day. All my friends at Midwest Parafest, whether you see this or not, hopefully you guys have a great time today, and I will hopefully see you guys in the future. So take care.